The Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. And we're back for another episode of an amazing story about Jenny. Jenny, welcome to the Pirate Broadcast. Good morning. Good evening.
Hey, hi. Yes. Good evening over here and good morning to you, Russ.
Yeah, she's over in Singapore. And
Yes.
today we're going to be talking about introverts, helping introverts, and also about a little bit of how you can actually get your true north and find your compass and maybe find your purpose in life, and some of the things that Jenny has brought to the community for other women and individuals that are looking to kind of align their goals in their life. So Jenny, you're an attorney in Singapore. How are you doing? Tell us a little bit about what's going on in your world today.
Well, things are looking better here. I mean, if we're talking about COVID, we're still having restrictions, so not like where you are, where I think it's more it's freer now. But I think with the population being over 77% vaccinated now, there is some. I think there's some leeway for things to get back to how it used to be, but everyone's trying to find what their new normal is, right? Yeah. So we're
Yeah.
good. My family's good. Thanks for asking, Russ.
Yeah, because it's important, that we, in a global economy now, and I consider this as, I have had guests from all over the world and continue to interview people all over the world. And it's just amazing to see that we're all the same. We're all concerned about our family. We're all working through, different challenges, and we're going through this process. And as a result, you have had a calling that you really want to help other people in the coaching arena, and specifically about finding their true north. We were talking before the show, and I love that idea and that concept. And how did you think about starting coaching, and how did you get involved in coaching, and what was the process that you went through to discover your true north?
Well, it wasn't a straightforward journey. I think we all have our story. So I was first exposed to coaching in 2015 when I was managing a small team. The organization put together like a 2 day crash course in coaching just so that we can be better managers. Russ. So that's when I was first bitten by the bug. And personally, I believe that I am a good listener. I mean, this was even before the coach training
Mhm.
that friends and family members used to come to me for advice because they feel that I'm always very grounded, very practical, very level headed. That's one aspect of me. So anyway, I have a full-time job and I have 3 kids, and I was thinking, okay, now's not a good time to go into something like this, right? I mean, are you nuts? You've got a stable job. Why rock the boat? I think a lot of us, we cling on to security, and I didn't pursue it. And years passed. Then came around December 2018 when I felt this desire to really do it, and it's a feeling that came up so strong I couldn't push it away. And I'm a Christian, Russ, so I believe that this is what God has put in my heart. And like what I shared with you earlier, what God puts in your heart, you can't run away from it. You tried. So it's like 2018, that's 3 years. So finally, with a lot
Mhm.
of prayer, a lot of discussion with my husband, I looked for a coach training program,
Mhm.
went into one, and I did it virtually because I couldn't find a suitable in-person course. I mean, this was before COVID when I'm still very
Yeah.
old school. I still want to sit in a classroom. So I stepped out of my comfort zone, did it with an Australian school, and they had a global student presence. Really enjoyed my time. And it's amazing because once you're passionate about something, things
Yeah.
fall into place. I took classes in the morning. I told my kids, mommy needs to go into a call right now. Bedtime will have to wait a bit. So there's a lot of support from the family. And without knowing that COVID was around the corner, I planned to launch my business in April last year, April 2020. Then
Mhm.
COVID hit us in the earlier part of last year. And I asked God, so now what? Do I still put it off? And, I just felt this sense of peace, not without fear. There is still this sense of peace knowing that God's got me in this. I'm going to
Absolutely.
be okay. So I went ahead with it. And people were like saying, "Are you sure this is a good time?" But I went ahead with it, and the business has grown. I'm very thankful. There's still ups and downs, as with any entrepreneurial journey, but I'm very grateful every day for the experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's really important for us to understand that there are times where it may not feel comfortable or easy, and it's still necessary, right? And it sounds like that's what you did, and the process, allowed you to kind of expand your business and grow your coaching and talk to more people and help more people. What kind of a satisfaction do you have when you have a coaching client that you see that breakthrough and you see that light bulb go off? What's the experience like for you?
It's amazing because I sometimes can see the block before the coachee, the client, and it's not for me to tell you, Russ, that oh yeah, you have a block in this, because it's not powerful, it's not empowering you. If someone else tells you, you need to discover it yourself, like you said, that light bulb moment, and then it just gives me pure joy. And I believe that once you yourself experience that aha moment, that awareness, and you bring it back and you live your life changed,
Mhm.
everyone around you will experience that positive ripple effect. And I just love that. It's like you touch one person and then one person goes on to touch another person. And it's just amazing. Yeah.
It's the ripple effect.
Yes.
And I was talking with Randy McNeely and Elia on a program yesterday about how this, when you put something out that's positive and you influence an outcome that is positive, it continues to ripple through the community. And I love that you said that, because it's really about how we can make a positive impact when we're, because you've been, raising kids, you've had a family, you've done all this work, you're a busy individual, and still you're actually going the extra mile and helping more people do great work. So that has to be very satisfying. Thank you so much for doing it. I appreciate
Thank
the
you for
opportunity
saying
to
that.
talk to you. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the process, because you mentioned the idea that you're not necessarily telling people what to do, but you're helping them discover what they need to do for themselves, and that's a very unique. That's different. So kind of walk through that and expand on that a little bit.
Well, you could say that I hold up the mirror for you, Russ, to look at
Mm,
yourself. Yeah, and when we're talking and when I ask you questions and I make observations, you may like hear your story, your situation from my voice, and somehow hearing it gives you that insight and that awareness. So I also see myself as your accountability partner. I am not saying that I'm your mentor, which means I know more than you know, that the coach wouldn't say that. And neither am I your counselor, so I don't come in and deal with an emotional hurt or trauma, because I'm not a trained counselor. I mean, hats off to the people who can do that. So a coach actually believes that you're already in a good place. It's just that probably you're blocked and you're stuck, and sometimes you just need support from someone who gives you that safe space without judgment. We're talking about building rapport, and Russ, you may tell me things that you don't tell your family because your family is always too keen to give you their opinion, right? So
right.
I listen. I don't know your life, and except for what you tell me, and I hear like what is your heart's desire, yeah, what's coming up. So it's like putting up a mirror for you to
Yeah.
see.
Sometimes we can't see because we're so close and we're so in it in ourselves, and you can't see a perspective that other people see, and that's so common. Is that something that you notice in clients a lot, in terms of your discovery process and
Yes.
holding up the mirror?
Yeah, so it's interesting that you bring that up. An example came to mind. So naturally, of course, anything that happens in a coaching session is confidential, so I can't share the details, but I can share the nuances. So I have this female client. She kept using the word should. I should do
Mm.
this. I should do that. And she didn't realize she was using the word should. So I just reflected to her. I said, in our 5 minute conversation, you used the word should like 12 times. And that just stumped her. She's like, why am I shooting it? So she's got all this possible external expectations that she put on herself, and maybe even internal, that she needs to live up to a certain standard. So just that simple reflection to say, I heard you say should 12 times. Like you said, you're so in it, you don't even know the nuances of your vocabulary.
Yeah. And sometimes we get so busy in life that we forget how much we project into other people. Uh, and I know that, and what I'm thinking of is that sometimes people just like to talk. They just like to expand some ideas, and they may not necessarily want it to go anywhere. It's just conversational talk, and and I think when we talk to ourselves and we have that self talk in our head, it's really great to think about having a coach to turn the mirror on us and say, do you realize that you're even doing this? Because a lot of people don't realize what they're doing in that instance,
Yeah.
and it's important for us to understand that. So how does that process work after they discover that? What's taking place in their head?
Well, let me take a step back and touch on what you said. So, coaching is not a conversation like what we're having now. So, the reality is, in a coaching session, the coach probably only speaks 20% of the time. So I give you this space, and I'm just listening to you say. So, there is a process. You come into a coaching session with a particular issue in mind, and we'll explore what you want to get out at the end of the coaching session. So, you may have a big goal, but of course, you can't cover a big goal in half an hour or 1 hour. So we break down to what's the most immediate thing that you want to walk away with that could put you in that forward momentum towards your big goal.
Mm,
So once we establish what the coaching goal is, that's when we begin the conversation, and we explore what comes up for you. And during
yeah.
this process, you may have awareness, or you may feel that your beliefs may be challenged at that point in time as well, to give you that different perspective.
Do you find that you illuminate some characteristics that people don't recognize they even have?
That's true. Yeah, I can hear that. I can hear like you're really a high achiever. For them, naturally, they say, "Oh, I just want to be perfect. I mean, I want everything to be perfect." Then okay, what's coming up there? Does everything need to be perfect? I'm a perfectionist myself, so it's quite easy to spot that. And
Yeah.
I guess one of the difficult challenges I face as a coach is whether I get too attached to the issue at
Mm,
hand. Like if I'm very familiar with something, I do need to be aware of myself and say, "Hey, Jenny, don't pass your judgment on this situation. Sounds very similar to what you're going through, but it's different because everyone's journey is different." So it's that self awareness that I have, that, oh, okay, is this a bias that I'm bringing here? Am I, you know, judging
mm,
beforehand? So I'm aware of that, and I stop myself and I bring my attention back to the client. And then sometimes, I will say, "Hey, Russ, I think you may be a bit hard on yourself here. No one's really expecting you to pull all these long hours, and why don't you practice a little bit of empathy on yourself?" And then the awareness comes like, "No, I can't practice empathy on myself. Everyone's looking at me to really do this." Then you realize that actually what's going on here. Yeah.
I love that. I want to give a shout out to a couple of people in the room. I know Marsha's there. Elise, good morning. Good afternoon, Russ and Jenny. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Michael Ba- Michael Baker's here today. Love the fact that you came and joined us. Sarah says, let's connect. Absolutely. And Michael Baker says, we are all humans and need to follow what's in our hearts to fulfill our purpose in life. Absolutely, Michael. Thank you so much for that statement. And thank you again, Jenny, for being here and sharing this, because it's so important for people to understand that they have an answer. They have a
Yes.
way and a journey out of some of the challenges they might be experiencing. Uh,
Yes.
Howard Kaufman says, appreciate the clarity of intent and focus.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
a squirrel.
he was referring to the coaching process, I think. Well, I
Yeah.
like what Michael said, that we live our lives according to our purpose. And what you said just now, Russ, we're so busy, we're so in the moment of what we're doing, or sometimes too overwhelmed that we don't take a step back and reflect. Why are we doing what we're doing in the first place? Sometimes people say that we're just busy for the sake of being busy. So it is not selfish, I believe. And sometimes I also, forget that, it is important to take that step back and then to reflect. Why am I doing this? Why am I running my own life coaching business? What's the purpose here? And when I reconnect with my purpose, my compass, my true north, that's when I get re-energized. And even though I'm an introvert, right, Russ? And if I'm
Yeah.
speaking to people after person after person, I really do not need that time to recharge. But I also feel very energized when I see an impact, or an insight that a person receives just by the coaching sessions.
I love that. I get excited because I talk to a lot of people that are coaches for me, and they don't actually know they're coaches, but they provide me with feedback and inspiration in different ways. And I've had a lot of coaches over the years, and I really gained a lot of insight on my own personal journey. And it's always different. It's always a unique personal kind of experience for me. And um, I just I just really get excited about other people providing this service and helping so many people. And it's something that you have to be called for, because it's not for everyone. It's
Yeah.
not something that everyone can do well.
Well, that's
So
contrary to what social media says, Russ. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen on Facebook, like, how to be a life coach in 16 hours. That is really, I think that's a marketing scam, or
yeah.
a gimmick. My own coach training lasted for more than a year, and I'm credentialed with International Coaching Federation, which actually imposes a very high level of ethics on the credential coaches. So I'm proud to say that I
Mhm.
went through the whole process, learned a lot myself, grew a lot myself, and I'm just sharing that with my clients as I coach them.
What's the biggest change or aha moment that you had during that training?
So it's definitely a lot of self awareness that, one, I am actually a perfectionist. I mean, I knew that all along, but it's like, reflecting that and seeing how that comes up. So when I was doing my coach training, I also had a bit of imposter syndrome, because when my mentor coach said, who can now tell me, put up your hand, that you're a coach? And a lot of us like hesitated, because we're only midway through our training. None of us wanted to put our hand and say, yes, I am a coach. Then he told us, you are already all coaches. It's just that your journey is probably at this end of the spectrum, whereas he says he's a dinosaur, so he's already at the other end of the spectrum. And that made me realize, why am I comparing, like, trying to be perfect with other people? Because, social media is really damaging to a certain extent. It's helpful, but if you get too involved in it and keep comparing yourself, you feel that you're not good enough. Then I realized that I should be comparing myself to my own journey. Am I better
Yeah.
today than yesterday? And that's what I tell my kids, when they say, oh, mommy, I feel I'm not that good and all that. I always remind them to compare themselves today as compared to yesterday. Have you, improved a bit? Have you done something nice to someone today? And that's a good reminder for me as well. Actually, I believe that my kids are my greatest teachers because they keep me real. They'll keep me real. They'll be like, Mommy, what are you doing on YouTube? Or you just keep it, keep me real. So I mean they're amazing. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. And it's so true at the same time. Michael says, no one is as smart as everyone. We can all learn from each other. And you can't compare somebody's, 20-year journey with your first year journey. Every musician has a sour note when they first start out, right? So you have to understand and be patient with yourself. And that's part of the self-discovery, I'm sure. So
Yes. Yeah.
I want to mention to people that you have an opportunity that you people can sign up and get a coaching session from you and experience this process? And where would they go to do that, Jenny?
Well, I can see you've put up all the social media so they can connect with me. But I have a website, so it's called riverlifecoaching.com. So you can just hop over there and book an appointment with me. So it's a complimentary 30-minute discovery call where you can experience a short session of coaching. Come with a
Yeah.
topic that you want to get unblocked on, see how it works. Because a lot of people feel that, what is coaching about? Some people think it's just getting advice. Some people think it's mentoring. It's not that. It's really this amazing process where you are given that space to slow down, to reflect, and then to see your inner strength and resource.
I love that. I'm gonna take you up on that. I'm gonna book a
Sure,
13-minute session.
sure. Let's see how the time zone works. We'll try and find a suitable time, Russ. I think that's the biggest challenge.
I'm okay. I'm okay doing late at night or early morning, so we'll figure it out. But
Okay,
I'll,
that'll
I'll
be
I'll find
cool.
a slot that work. Do you have a booking schedule right on there that people can
Yes,
book a
that's also
time?
there's an appointments that you can.
Yeah,
My calendar, so they can just hop over and book a time. Yeah.
I love that. Well, it's really been a great experience to have you, and as you mentioned before the start of the show, this is your very first live stream. So
Yes, I think it's going well. What do you think, Russ?
I love it. I love it. But that's the point of this. That's the point of the pirate broadcast and the pirate syndicate is it's not about pirates as much as it is
I do
about
see the pirate flag at the back.
the treasure. It's the treasure we could discover along our journey, right, Jenny?
Yes, yes.
It's the kindness is it's my theme is kindness is cool and smiles are free. So it's really about helping other people and taking this journey together and being part of the community. So if you haven't connected with Jenny, you can go to LinkedIn. Like she said, all of the links are in the social posts. You can go out there and discover a little bit more about her coaching, her conversations, and some of the things that you're sharing out on in the world today. So it's amazing. I want to shift a little bit and think about, we're going through this world pandemic
Mm.
kind of process, and a lot of people are struggling with not necessarily long-term impact, but there's some short-term confusion and challenges. So are you noticing a trend? Is there anything that is coming up on a regular basis that people are struggling with that we could maybe give them some advice and some suggestions on how to work through that today?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, myself included, like, let's wait until, I can't do
Mm,
this right now. Let's wait until, things settle. And then you realize all that waiting, I think it's going to be some way more before things settle. So instead of fighting it, instead of holding off, instead of like holding your breath and wait until everything's over, breathe and just really come and accept what's going on. So I do have low periods myself because my family's not my extended family. My parents are not here in Singapore with me. I haven't seen them for 2 years in
oh,
person.
wow.
So I have to accept that, it's okay. They are well, and let's make the most of what we can with what we have right now. Put on an attitude of gratitude. It's not easy because there are days when we feel that why can't we just get on with life? I don't want to wait. So a lot of my clients say, I can't make this decision right now. It's too difficult because I have so many things that's uncertain. So I just bring them, what small step can you take? Despite of
Yeah,
all these uncertainties, what small step can you take just to move out of your comfort zone, just one step out? Then as you realize, when you move out of your comfort zone one step, that becomes your new comfort zone. Then you move out another step, and then your comfort zone increases, and before you know it, you're in a totally new level of comfort, and you've grown.
yeah,
So it's all about growth. So I think accept the feelings that you're going through. So I'm not saying put on a fake, I know you say smiles are free. By all means, smile if you genuinely feel happy, but on days that you're low, that's fine, accept it.
yeah,
You're only human, like what Michael said, and we all have emotions. There is no right or wrong. The worst thing is for you to suppress it, and that's why people tend to just have outbursts of anger. There's too much. You suppress it too much. So make sure you have support.
yeah,
I mean, Russ, I know you're doing good work here, putting the community together, and then people are, bouncing ideas. Make sure you have support. You are not alone. I think in a way, one great thing about COVID is we all realize no matter where we are in the world, if we talk about COVID and experience, someone is going to say, I've experienced that before. I know sometimes it's
Yeah,
bad news, but you're not alone, Russ, Jenny, you're not alone. We've all experienced some shape or form that has changed our lives.
we're all going through it together.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I want to mention a couple of things before we wrap up today,
sure.
Jenny, that uh, we do the pirate broadcast. We're coming up on 500 episodes. We're going to change things up a little bit, make it a little easier. I'm going to have some alternative times for the pirate broadcast.
Okay.
So it makes it a little easier for people around the world to get on and join in. And also, I'm doing Amazon Live. I'm going to have Marsha Reese and a couple of friends, pirate in the pirate community, come on board on Saturday. Saturday afternoon, I'll be putting some announcements out, and people can join in to Amazon Live. We're going to be talking about some of the products and services that Marsha is promoting, and her Stay Well. I love her stuff to continue to stay germ free, and I support her. And I just want to mention that to the pirates because, well, it's Friday, and I want to be able to share more with the pirate community, so I can actually help and encourage you to do some great things. Jenny has shared some amazing ideas and recommendations and insight with us today. And so I really thank everyone for being here. And Jenny, as we close up today, I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to share what is next on your journey and where are you headed and what would you like to see expand more of in the future?
Well, I definitely want to coach more people and then impact them in like what we're talking about ripple effect and all that. And I want to also grow my group coaching program. That's to
Mm.
have that peer support. Right now, I know I'm very passionate about one-to-one coaching. You just have me as your coach, but I've also started doing group coaching programs where like-minded individuals come together, probably to work on something quite similar, so like a big topic, but each one of them will bring something different, and then they can be their own accountability partners. And I think that's very exciting, right? There's only one Jenny, but
Yeah.
if all these people, 4 or 5 of you, come together, and then you get energized, and then I can like sort of let you guys go and even form a little pod, and then before you know it, I have another group, and then they can form a little pod. So I love this ripple effect thing, and I'm quite excited about it. I've done 3 groups so far, and it's been going well. So I'm really hoping to expand that as well. Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy that you joined us today and we finally got to catch up online and actually share some of your experiences and some of the talents and gifts that you bring to the table. So thank you so much for being here, Jenny.
Well, thank you, Russ. Thank you. You've been very generous. Yes, thank you.
Well, and pirates, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you, all the gratitude in the world for everything that you bring to the community. And connect with Jenny. Make sure you reach out, encourage her to continue to support other people in her community. And as always, kindness is cool. Smiles are free because, well, enjoy the day. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
And have a great weekend too.
Yes.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.